Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with unfortunately the last LEGO Star Wars 2017 Winter Set review. To finish off this line, we have the largest of the 2017 winter sets, the Y-Wing Starfighter set number 75172, ages 8 to 14, comes 691 pieces, and is going to retail for £65 or $70 in the United States. So when I first heard about this set, the first thing that catched my eye was the price tag. $70 for a Y-Wing? We haven't really ever seen that before. The previous Y-Wing in 2012, which of course wasn't that long ago, it was only 5 years ago, was only £50, so a £20 increase. That being said, however, the prices does match that, considering it has nearly 700 pieces. And really, to be honest with you, when I've got it in hand right now, the physical version, and especially when I'm going to compare it to the 2012 version right here, I'll do that later in the review, it's somewhat hard to tell you where those 200 pieces went, because, as I said, the prices for the piece does work out. It is 10 pence per piece, roughly, but I can't really tell you where they went, because especially comparing it to the 2012 one, it doesn't really look like this one has 200 pieces more. Still, it's still a good set, and I'm glad that we got it eventually, because of course it does coincide with Rogue One. That being said, now, let's go and start off with the minifigures. Our first minifigure is our Y-Wing pilot, who of course pilots our Y-Wing, and to my knowledge we've never had any Rebel pilot before who comes in this dark yellow kind of coloration. The vast majority of Rebel pilots will of course come in the X-Wings, who have like the orange jumpsuit type thing. So of course it's very nice that we do get a variation, and that's just a very nice detail they did add in the end. Although we may have had a few different ones in the past, I'm not entirely sure, but generally speaking, if it's a different type of Starfighter, for example A-Wing or B-Wing, it would just be like a different helmet, whereas with this one of course is a completely different coloration, and the detailing on the trousers and on the torso is very, very nice. Also going on the back, which even that is better. So overall, a very nice premium minifigure. Of course, the face, this one is kind of more happy, sort of, you know, flying face, whereas this one's kind of more, oh no, I'm going to crash face. So it does get double side face. Normally we don't get pilots as well. Normally the Rebel pilots tend to be somewhat under detailed because LEGO doesn't care about them that much. The helmet as well is also very nicely printed. Very, very good. Personally, I'm just a big fan of this. I mean, of course, I'm not a big fan of the Rebel pilots in general because they're quite underprinted and quite underrated, I suppose, by LEGO. They're not really classed as really popular minifigures, but still this one I think they did do a really good job. And even though technically I think it's meant to be more gold because it's gold leader, I suppose that's kind of meant to be the gold on the helmet there, still overall a very nice minifigure. I'm very much glad we got him. I'm glad we got like a different type rather than just, you know, the usual kind of stand thing we've got before. He comes with a little blaster pistol, but overall very nice minifigure. And yes, while it's a small detail, no one's going to buy this for the actual pilot, it's of course very nice we did get something new with a different type of Starfighter, because I haven't had a Y-Wing in like 5 years, I think, so yeah. Anyway, that being said, let's now move on to Admiral, not Akbar, the other one. Our next minifigure is Admiral Radus, or Radus, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but we did see him. He was quite prominent in Rogue One, mainly towards the end in the final sort of space battle, and I suppose in many ways you could say he was kind of the Rogue One version of Admiral Akbar. So overall, a very nice minifigure. Of course, to my knowledge, we haven't had any other Mon Calamari species minifigures other than, of course, Admiral Akbar, although I believe at one point we did get one with the General Grievous. I think it was like a Jedi Padawan, who also was part of the Mon Calamari species. That being said, however, they're still quite a rare species to have, especially in different kind of characters, because normally it's just Admiral Akbar, of course, he's the most famous Mon Calamaran. Still, overall, looking straight towards the head, of course, the head is a solid plastic and not rubber, which we've got on some other minifigures like Plo Koon, which is, of course, quite nice. There's a bit of printing under here, kind of in the turtleneck, or whatever you would call it, I'm not entirely sure, kind of toad neck, whatever it is. We've got some printing around here as well. Just a very nice helmet, sorry, head. It feels so hard, it feels like a helmet, really, but there you go, very nice. The printing is somewhat basic down here, but there is still some. You can't see incredibly well, but you can see there are some black lines down there, which is quite nice sort of detailing, as well as I like these sort of 3D elements kind of here, because they do look like they kind of pop out in the minifigure, these kind of belt straps or whatever they may be. And while yes, the printing is somewhat basic on the torso and like the legs, it's still quite nice to have. He also of course comes with a blaster pistol. Very nice. I'm glad we got him in this set. I wasn't entirely sure whether we were going to make him, because yes, while he was somewhat prominent in Rogue One, he wasn't incredibly known. He wasn't really what I would say one of the main characters, and I doubt we'll see him again. Hopefully we will in some of the other spin-offs, but you know, we'll have to see about that. Nonetheless, a very nice minifigure. I'm glad we got him, and of course it's always nice to get extra Mon Calamari species people. But yeah, that being said, definitely a good minifigure, one of the best minifigures I would say of this entire line. And now let's move on to, I'm afraid guys, it just has to be the best minifigure of the entire line, the white Chewbacca. I really need to learn the names. And now on to what has to be the best minifigure of this entire 2017 winter line. We have Moroff. or Moroth, or however you pronounce it. Unfortunately, I have absolutely no idea to pronounce it because he did not appear in the film. He may have appeared in some deleted scenes, which I'll know when I get the DVD, but until that point, he did not appear in the film whatsoever. So that's really unfortunate. I really would have loved to see him. A lot of people refer to him as the white Chewbacca because he does look somewhat resemble Chewbacca in that kind of way. Still, look on the minifigure itself. We're going to start off, we have this massive kind of, I don't know what this is, I suppose ammo pack or whatever you may call it on the back here. It somewhat reminds me of like a Ghostbusters kind of, whatever you call those packs they used to wear. You have this weapon here, which is very, very cool. It is quite flimsy, or it might just be the pieces I was given, I'm not entirely sure. But here we still have this little piece, which is made up of these two simple pieces right there. And he can hold it as you just saw, or you can put it in here, if I can do it. There we go, and you can put it in like so, and it does hold there, and that what really reminds me of those Ghostbusters not ammo packs, whatever they call those, plasma packs. I'm afraid I don't entirely know, I'm not a Ghostbusters geek really, but still, they can fit in there quite well, and it's very, very cool. This is quite bulky, and in fact, if you just put it, of course he's on studs right now, but if I just put it on a regular surface, you'd probably have to bend him quite forward to have him stand up properly, because of course this is so heavy, and it does sort of make him fall backwards. As you just saw there, this one did pop off, because it is really flimsy, seriously guys. It might just be my set, don't entirely know, but still it is quite flimsy with this particular gun or stuff. But see, just did it again. Anyway, moving on to the legs here. The legs have some printing, which is very nice. I mean, we did a bit of printing on Chewbacca's legs, but you know, still it's always nice to get more printing as well. I don't entirely know his species. I don't believe he is a Wookiee. He kind of looks like those Hoth Wampa things, but obviously he's nowhere near that sort of size. Still, very nice minifigure. Of course, this is a new molded piece. Just trying to take this off. Come on. There we go. We get some printing underneath as well. It didn't need to do that, mainly because, of course, we have this piece covering it, but still very nice. You can simply take it off, and we've got some printing on the back there. Very nice. He's printed all the way around, as you can see there, and, of course, the printing on the legs as well. We got this sort of, I don't know, this hard plastic piece, similar to what Chewbacca has. I believe that's kind of like an ammo pack or maybe a bit of armor. Don't know what it is. Of course, I would know what it was if he had appeared in the film. Unfortunately, he didn't. I presume he's some deleted scene or something. I wish he had, because, you know, obviously you would have more backstory of him. I just love backstory on characters, but still, what can you do? Overall, he has to be the best minifigure of the set and the best minifigure of this entire line. If there are any better ones, please leave them down in the comments. Leave down your thoughts on which is the best minifigure. Personally, even though we didn't see him, I've got to say it is this guy, because he looks so cool, quite frankly, just everything about him, and I really hope to use him in mocks or stop motions or something later down the line. That being said, however, now let's move on to the Rebel Astromech droid. Our second to last minifigure is our Rebel Astromech droid. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any sort of classification like R2-D2 or K2SO or anything like that. He's just called the Rebel Astromech droid, which they have done a few times before when they just like need to put some sort of droid in there to kind of complete the set. Still, he is still a very, very cool Astromech droid, possibly one of the best ones we've ever had, mainly because we have this see-through dome or headpiece, whatever you call. It may be not incredibly well to see on the camera, but I try to bring it really up close. You can kind of see, sorta, maybe slightly, you can sort of see the internals right there. Somewhat, the point is it is somewhat transparent, which is very, very cool. I believe we have seen it once before, to my knowledge, although I may be wrong in that. I can't quite remember what set it was, but some set, for some reason I just feel like we have seen it somewhere before. Anyway, overall, a very nice Astromech, and of course, Astromechs, they're nothing too special, you can't really use them that much. Still, it's great that we do get a different piece and something new, you know, because Astromechs really are quite standard units. You see them all the time, you see them all the time in Star Wars, they're quite standard droids, so it's really nice to get something new, something different. Of course, the printing is completely the same, got no back printing, unfortunately, but the printing going around the head is the exact same as any other Astromech. Really, the only thing is different is the fact that the dome is somewhat transparent, not fully, I wouldn't say, not really completely transparent like window pieces, but it is somewhat more translucent than, say, like, you know, completely opaque like R2-D2. And of course, the fact that he comes in sort of this chromish, gunmetal chrome sort of color in the torso. Just overall, a very nice minifigure. To be honest with you, he looks more somewhat Imperial than an actual Rebel guy, but still, you know, it's still cool that you get a new guy. Nonetheless, very cool Astromech droid. I'm glad we got him in this set. Unfortunately, we did not get the black one, which again, just like this guy, we saw in the trailers and in the promos and stuff like that, but unfortunately it wasn't in the film, but still, anyway. That being said, I'm going to move on to the last minifigure. Our final minifigure is a regular Stormtrooper, of which we have seen them before. I believe the first time we saw these was in the 2014 Imperial Star Destroyer, and since then we've seen them a few different times, including some battle packs, some other little sets. For some reason, nothing too much special to go over here. Taking off his helmet, we can see he has a regular clone face right there, or regular trooper face, as LEGO refers to it, which a lot of people aren't happy about, but I don't really think is a big deal. He comes with a regular blaster, and really overall just a pretty classic Stormtrooper, nothing too special. He doesn't have the battle marks, unlike the ones in the battle pack last year, they did have battle marks, but this one is completely just regular, nothing too special whatsoever. Still, it's nice to get him, of course, always good to build your Imperial army, and now, with that being said, let's go on and move on So the Y-Wing Starfighter. As with many other sets in some recent lines, this, in my opinion, is the best incarnation of the Y-Wing Starfighter we have ever had, and certainly better than the 2012 version or any other version we've had in the past. That being said, however, is it $70 better? Because my question is not whether it's the best version or whether it's worth the money, but rather, if you have a Y-Wing, is it worth $70 extra to get another one? Is it that much better? Well, let's find out. First of all, we have this little transport, or whatever you may call this, where, of course, similar to the one in the A-Wing, which you also got this line, he kind of just goes in here. It's kind of more of an extra sort of feature to help out with the Y-Wing. Of course, we see this in Episode 4, mainly when the Y-Wings, the X-Wings are lifting off, and you see these guys in the background kind of running about, or, you know, all the stuff trying to prepare for the battle. Of course, we have the guy who sits in that chair there, as well as this is a printer piece, which is quite nice. Got a little spanner there as well, some lights here, and these little hover things on the bottom, which meant to give the impression that it is floating, which is quite cool. Of course, a little crane here, which can't actually move side to side, unfortunately. I kind of wish it could, and I think with a simple modification, you could make it move side to side, but, you know, still a minor thing, where, of course, you can hook the crane, and pretty much you can see how it does move about and stuff. These are stickers right here, but that's a bit unfortunate. You can detach this, and, of course, we do have some space. It's very similar to the A-Wing one. We have space for the extra spring-loaded shooters here, and, of course, there are two already in the set, which I'll show you in a second, as well as the extra bombs, which also go in the set, and there are two also in there already, which you can also fit in there, which is quite cool. And a cool little thing, you can see you got this hook here, and you can hook it on there, if I can do it. Hook it on like so, like so, like so, like so, and it does carry it around, and you can do that, and it's very cool. But yeah, more or less, so that's more or less that little thing. Now moving on, of course, to the Y-Wing itself. This is certainly, as I said, the best Y-Wing we've ever had. Certainly most detailed, and certainly the most accurate, obviously, apart from the UCS Y-Wing, which we got years and years ago. But is it $70 better? Well, moving on, the features are somewhat straightforward and what you would expect for a set, really, of this kind of caliber, where, of course, we have the opening cockpit here, which is quite cool. You have the guy who can sit in there. That is a sticker, by the way, unfortunately. It's kind of wish it wasn't, but still, you do get the little targeting computer there. That is quite cool, something we haven't seen before, to my knowledge. Moving towards the back, of course, underneath, we have the spring-loaded shooters, which we have seen in many other sets, and, of course, you just pull it down and... diggity, and of course you can just put the extra one in there if you have lost them. Underneath there is a fair amount of detail, especially in this section right here, which is quite cool. I like that sort of feature, as really the detail kind of comes in the element up here. This is where all the detail is, and I suppose this is where the extra 200 pieces would be, because I can't really think where else it would be. Overall, the detailing on this set is amazing and just utterly incredible. There are a fair amount of stickers. There are 2 stickers on each engine, as you can see there. Comparing it to the 2012 one, you can see 2012 one, the engines were significantly more white. I definitely prefer this one because it looks more sort of dirty, more worn, more like a battle kind of Star Wars vehicle, you know, more sort of in the heat of battle kind of thing. As well as the fact the engines at the back here are somewhat more detailed, more accurate. You've got some more detailing here as well, and just overall a great amount of detailing, which I think is really where the 200 pieces went, and I think this is why it's £20 more than the previous Y-Wings, because just how much detailing it's got. That being said, however, I still don't entirely know if it's worth it. One main feature though, which doesn't come just like in usual sets, of course, by the way, the astromech does fit in there, as you can probably see, nothing too special. But one thing that does not come in the majority of sets, although it did come in 2012 one as well, this little knob here, you may think it'll be to fire these missiles. It's not. In actual fact, you can see there's a small little opening down there and a small opening up here. Just as I showed you with these missiles, those rockets, we of course have 2 in there already, as you can see, and you simply turn this knob, and there you go, and they both fall out. Simple as that. And a good feature is you may be worried that if you put it in simply like so, that they can just fall out. Well, not really, because the thing is the gap is quite small, and it's not just going to simply fall out. And of course, if you turn it just a little, then it'll turn that way and it won't fall out. So it is quite cool. You can try to put 4 in there at once, because you do get 4 rockets. But the thing is, of course, the way the systems work, that you can't really have 4 staying in there at one time, because there always has to be 1 out. So hopefully you understand what I mean when I say that. But suffice to say, you can have 3 in there at one time. But yeah. Overall then, that is more set to the actual features of the set. As I said, really the big draw of the set would be the colouring or the detailing. I forgot to mention, by the way, it does have some landing gear right here, which is quite cool, and this does fold out like so. You can see that, very nice. It's quite small. It's the same size as the A-Wing one, although the A-Wing is significantly smaller ship, so the landing gear does look significantly bigger on that particular set, but still, it does fall out like so, and it does somewhat raise off the ground, which is a new feature we haven't actually seen in Y-Wings before, mainly because it's never really needed them, but still, it's pretty cool that we do get it. You got some little cannons here, which don't do anything, but they're just there for show, and just overall, as I said, the detail really is the big draw of the set as opposed to other Y-Wings, because yes, while we have had a fair amount of detail in other Y-Wings, it's not really to this kind of standard, so I would say this certainly has to be the best Y-Wing we've ever got, but that's not my question. My question is not whether it's the best, because it certainly is, and if you do not have a Y-Wing, I would highly recommend you pick it up. Is it worth the money, and moreover, is it worth the money if you've already got a Y-Wing though? That is the big question, and well, let's answer this at the end. So overall, as I said, best Y-Wing we've ever got. Is it worth the money? We'll find out. Now, moving on to the instructions in the box that include my review of the Y-Wing Starfighter. To finish off this line, of course, the instruction manual is just like all the rest, pretty simple. One instruction manual, quite cool. 2 pages of inventory, as you expect for a set of the size, as well as the advertisement we got before for this LEGO app, which your kids can use if you so desire, as well as an advertisement for the Force Awakens video game. I presume there will be one of Rogue One. Hopefully there will be. Maybe they'll do maybe they'll wait and do one of all the anthology films. I don't entirely know, but maybe they'll try to capitalize it and try to do it as soon as possible. Either way, quite cool. We have in the pack here, different to other instruction manuals where we normally just get the minifigures, we have the construction figures here, or the buildable figures, as they would say. I have reviewed K2SO, and that is absolutely the only one. I've just realized I was going to do the those Death Troopers and the Scarab Trooper, but we'll see if that actually happens. If hopefully it will eventually, but we'll have to see. And of course, we also have the other sets from this line right here. As I said in my 2 last reviews, if you want me to get the Phantom, leave it down in the comments, and I may consider it. We'll see, but otherwise, I won't really consider it, because while it may be a cool set to some, I'm not a massive fan of it. I didn't get the first Phantom. I don't have the Ghost, so you know, it's not a big deal to me, but still, if you really want to get it, then we'll see what happens. It also comes with 91 pages of build. I believe that's exactly the same as the Battle of Scarab, funny enough, and I believe it may have come with the same amount of bags, or maybe one less bag, or maybe one more bag, I can't quite remember, but it is very similar to that kind of thing, even though it's like nearly 200 pieces more than that. Can I just say, by the way, I'll show this more in the box art, but the art behind the Y-Wing is very cool. Still, that being said, let's now move on, of course, to the box. As expected, the box is the largest box from this line, of course, because it has the largest set within it. You can see back there, you have to excuse that, by the way, that's because some tape fell on and I had to kind of rip it off. Nonetheless, you can see here we've got some minifigures back here having a bit of a fight, as well as the fact you've got this guy who can, of course, detach that and put it into the slot there. Of course, it's meant to go up there, but still, whatever, he'll find out, I guess. Anyway, you can turn this knob and the bombs fall out, which is quite cool. As I said, that can rotate, of course, that can rotate, and it's meant to rotate. The only way you can open the cockpit is if it does rotate, but still, very cool overall, a very nice set. As I said, the box art is quite cool in the background. I'm not entirely sure what planet that is, or where this is meant to happen, because I don't recall this happening in Rogue One, and I presume this is, of course, based off Rogue One, considering the minifigures, but still, very cool box and very cool set. Now, we can go conclude my review of the Y-Wing Starfighter. Thank you for watching my review of the Y-Wing Starfighter 75172, and thank you for watching all my 2017 winter reviews, assuming you did watch all my 2017 winter reviews. So, as I've said throughout this review, this is, in my opinion, the best incarnation of the Y-Wing Starfighter we've ever got, and we've got quite a few over the years. There was one, of course, in 2012, as I keep mentioning, as well as one in 2006, and quite a few back, like, more than a decade ago, when LEGO Star Wars first started. So we've had quite a few. That being said, however, I suppose that is somewhat expected, considering that I would hope that LEGO does try to improve their sets every time they remake them, so it is understandable why this would be the best version of the Y-Wing ever. But is it worth the $70 price tag, especially if you have some of the older variants? Well, I would say flat out, it is worth it if you don't have any of the old variants. I would say that $70 for the amount of pieces, and yes, I suppose, of course, it's $20 more than previous Y-Wings, but it does meet that 10 pence per piece, so I would say it is worth it if you do not have any previous Y-Wings. If you do, however, and if, of course, you're not particularly trying to build your Rebel army or anything like that, I suppose I would recommend waiting, because yes, while it is worth it in terms of actual pieces, and on paper, it is worth it, and it's still a good set. $70 is still a pricey set for something you kind of already have. I mean, yes, the minifigures certainly drive up the price, and I would say, really, anything like $60 would definitely be worth it, because the minifigures, especially this minifigure, and some others around here, are very, very good and worth getting. But really, I think 70 maybe is a little high if you have previous versions. But that is it then to my review of the Y-Wing Starfighter. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, leave a like down below. I'm not sure if you noticed, maybe this one was slightly different, but in my reviews recently, I've been trying to make them a bit shorter. I may have failed with this one because I feel like this one went on a bit of a while, but it is a big set, and I did try to talk about it as much as possible. Still, anything in the comments, if you felt it was too short, if you felt I was talking too quickly, if you felt I missed stuff out, if you felt I should talk about more stuff, whatever, anything you want, leave it down in the comments below, and I will listen to you. I'll most likely reply to you, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching all my 2017 reviews. From now on, I'll be doing a lot more reviews. We've got a lot of Star Wars, a lot of superheroes, and even some LEGO Batman movie sets. So there's a lot of reviews coming on your way. I've got reviews going all the way to like May or something. Yeah, that rhymed. Anyway, that being said, thank you guys for watching this review, and I cannot wait for the next line of LEGO Star Wars sets. Oh, it's going to be great. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, troops. Back with unfortunately the last LEGO Star Wars 2017 winter set build and review. It's already built. Back with unfortunately the last LEGO Star Wars 2017 winter set build and reviews. Already built. Our first minifigure is our A-Wing, Y-Wing, goddammit. This A-Wing, Y-Wing pilot, oh there are so many names. Unfortunately he doesn't get any sort of classification. Goddammit. This is a sticker to my knowledge. Is it? No, it's not. Oh crap, it's not.